All right, so I was released from the hospital a little while ago. Made it home. I just went ahead and called Uber. No need to trouble my wife to, pick, pack E in or whatever. I just Ubered home. And on the way home, we're on the interstate, and every little bump, it was getting kind of painful. And then we got off on the highway. It was a little slower. It was much better. And I told the, when I sent out the Uber, I'm like, okay, I'm at this hospital emergency room. I wonder if these people are gonna be scared to pick people up from the hospital. So someone took the call, the Uber, and I messaged them, hey, just FYI, I'm not sick. He wrote back like LOL, and so he picked me up. But I took the little throw up bags that the hospital gave me, and because a couple times I was like, oh man, oh, like ow, oh, started to sweat just a little bit. I was like, oh crap, man. So I told him, I was like, hey, I'm telling the driver, hey, just so you know, man, like I said, I'm not sick. You ever hear of a kidney stone? He's like, he was a Spanish guy. He's like, no, and so I explained it. He goes, oh yeah, okay. And I was like, the pain is outrageous. It's unbelievable. And I said, just so you know, when you're driving, you hit these little bumps, and I know it's not your fault, but I can feel the pain come back. I said, if it gets too bad, I might throw up because of the pain hurts so bad. I have this bag. I've got 3 of them. Just so you know, again, I'm not sick. I don't want you to think I'm sick or anything. So he's like, oh, no problem. So, they did a CT scan, and I think I might have passed 1 or 2 before that. I swear, because I felt pain in 3 distinct spots. One was in my back by the kidney, left side, not by, but on the kidney. The next one was like here-ish, and then the next one was a little, further down, closer to the mommy daddy maker. Um, and I thought, okay, when I got back from this CT, I was like, well, I only feel in this area, like right down here. Like I only feel this one. The back's not really, I don't really feel that one, and the other one. So I thought, well, whatever, we'll see what happens. So they said, hey, doctor comes back. He says, hey, it looks like you've got a 3 millimeter kidney stone. And he goes, if it was 5 millimeter, that's usually around you kind of got a 50-50 chance of passing it on your own. If it's bigger than that, you're probably not going to pass it. And that's when we might have to go in surgery or some other means. So I said, well, 3, that's almost half of 5, He goes, yeah, you should be able to pass this. And he said, and I said, you only see 1 right now? He goes, yep, I only see 1 in there, and it's goes through the kidney, and then through a little tube, and then there's what's it called, a urethra or something, and then after that, there's another little tube that feeds feeds down to the bladder. So he goes, where we see it on the CT is it's at the very end of that urethra or whatever that's called. He goes, which is a good sign. It means you've been passing. It's moving, and it's at the tail end of honestly kind of the spot where it really hurts. He goes, and it may hurt more as it moves some more. But he goes, but once it gets into your bladder, you really shouldn't have any pain in there for the most part anymore. And he goes, and usually that's around the time when it can start breaking up, and even if it doesn't break up, you should be able to pee that one out. And I'm like, okay, sounds good. So they basically released me. I didn't have to do anything other than the CT scan. They took some blood work. Not sure how much this hospital bill is going to be, but someone had posted a comment, and it was about $4,000 or $5,000 for them. And I thought, well, that's not too awfully bad from what I was thinking, but I was also thinking they may have to do surgery or do something. Like I was in tears, man. When I went in there, my wife was pushing me in. It was the worst part of it. And oh my God, I've never felt anything like that in my life. So the doctor came by later, after he's like, all right, let this IV run its course, and then we'll unplug in. You can just take off. All right. So I said, hey, listen, I'm going to ask you a little question. I'm like, let me look around, make sure no one else is around. So I'm going to ask you something. He's like, all right, what? I said, this whole thing, sun disease. Of course, I use the real word. I said, if you just turn off the TV, the news, and all the stuff, there's a lot of hype around this. And I said, you just look at the numbers. There's 500 something people, that got it. Which, by the way, the Uber driver informed me, no, there's actually 612 or something now. Okay. As of today's update. And I think still maybe 22 deaths. So again, I'm not real sure. But I said, even both of those numbers are extremely low. I almost feel like we're overreacting about this. And he said, well, a lot of people that may have this may not even know they have it. Because most of the time it's mild to not even noticing it. The majority. And I said, well, that's a good point, because I already knew that. But I said, so let's take that number into the equation, that there's a whole bunch of people that have this, don't even know they have it. So when we hear this percentage, 2%, 3%, whatever, that's because it's only being measured upon people who decide to go in and get checked. He goes, yeah, that's true. So I said, so what do you think, what are the real numbers? He goes, well, that's the problem. We don't know. He goes, but it's not as bad. It's not going to be as bad as we think, because so many people are carrying this that don't even know they have it. They're not going to go in. They're not going to get checked. Therefore, they're not going to be part of the number system where we do the math on it. And he thought it probably wouldn't be nearly as bad as like what the deaths and things we see with the flu. So I then asked him, this is a doctor, I said, do you guys have, or have you had anybody here, patients or whatever? He goes, no, not yet. We haven't had any with coronavirus here yet. And I thought, okay, all right. It's a very busy hospital, very well known in the Tampa area. But that was his words. That was what he thought. And he said, ultimately we need more data. And we don't have the data, because we don't know how many people actually have it, and they're not going to show up. So, we're not going to have good data anyways. I thought, well, it's a good point. So I left it at that, left the hospital, and wasn't feeling too shabby until just about 5 seconds ago. I feel a little bit of pain coming on in that spot again. I don't know if it's because I'm sitting. I was kind of laying like this in the hospital bed too. I did do a little trim. I saw a couple of y'all's commenting. Joe, zoomed in on your nose hairs. Time to trim those babies. Those weeds have been trimmed a moment ago. Yeah, but so it's starting to hurt right now. So I'm home, and wish me luck. I'm not doing any videos tonight. I'm not going in there for any videos tomorrow. Let someone else do that. I'm going to take it easy if I can. So on that note, you guys take it easy.